What do
driving,
you find in the garage that tells you there's a sprinkler?
the controls usually. But in the older homes, it's not always there. Sometimes it's outside, and that's why you have to check for the sprinkler heads as well. Another thing too, when you're driving up to the house, you can see as well, just like the water can run forward. You know, you see these driveways where you go down to get into your house. You talk about the presence of potentially water in your garage for the same reason. So that's something that you're looking at both in the front and in the back of your home. I always look for wood rot, especially if they're really, really interested in the home, and that's something else that I point out. Normally you'll find it around the chimney first because they haven't done flashing correctly. It hasn't been flashed appropriately. Quick little safety thing just before I forget, if they ever want to be, and these buyers are just sometimes so hard to deal with, but the ones who want to go look at the attic, you know, they want to go see, like, oh my gosh. Okay, if you're ever opening the attic door, just so you know, always turn your head to the side when you open the door. Don't open it from here, because they do have these large springs, especially the older homes, they're rusted. And I do know of one time when one popped off and went that way, and I certainly wouldn't want it to hit anybody in the face or grab their eye or anything like that. So that's kind of a quick little safety thing there.
So do you go up first, or do you let them go? Or?
Oh no, I let them go. I mean, sometimes they'll have questions. If they've got questions, I'll go up there and look around. If it's something that's important. Now, the only time that I would say I would go and check is if the man has told me again and again that he needs that storage. He needs that attic storage and that floored attic. Then while they're looking at the house, depending on how important it is, I'll go up and check and see if it's got the storage. Now, let's say he opens it, okay, and you look in and it's all silver in the attic above the roof. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't. The silver up where the roof is, like when you're looking straight up, you see silver. Does anybody know what that means? Huh?
Ductwork?
Not the ductwork. The actual ceiling in the attic is all silver.
Some new insulated product or something, or new?
I'm gonna get. I have no idea. Decking is wrong.
No, it is an insulation. It's something that Stylecraft was doing for a while. I don't know if they're still doing it now. But what it is because it's keeping the attic so it's not so hot. It's actually a roof upgrade. It's a material that they put on the roof so that when that sun comes down and hits the roof to reflect it, it supposedly bounces that sun, back out instead of keeping it into the attic, supposedly lowering your utility bills. Other things, maybe a little bit more complicated that you can look for. Let's say we're going into the house and safety's an issue, or they're just looking around. You want to look. It's really easy to go up to one of those windows, raise the windows, and anybody know what to look for? Joey, we talked about it. Do you remember?
Oh, the alarm system.
The alarm system. You can look there and quickly see if the property's been pre-wired for security. It's very easy. There'll be a little white dot that'll be in there, or there'll be a connector piece that attaches to the outside so that when the two separate, the alarm goes off. When you open the front door, generally it's on the top of the front door, and it's just a little white dot about this big. And you can say, oh, look, it's been pre-wired. Isn't that nice? Now, another thing, again, getting into a little bit of a higher dollar home, let's say that there is a panel here where you would think there would be a light switch, but there's no light switch there. It's just the panel. And it's like, what, did they make a square and then change their mind, and so they put a panel to cover it? What is that?
At like right where you're standing on the wall?
Well, let's pretend. Let's pretend that there was a...
Motion detector.
It could be.
No, it's not for a motion detector. Normally you would have this, right? It's your little light switch, and you turn it off and on. But haven't you guys seen them when they're like this?
It's at my house.
There's no light switch on.
Could it be for cable or Ethernet or something?
Typically, no, if it's not where your light switch is. If it's where your light switch is, no.
For wireless.
No. No. What it is that typically means the house has been pre-wired for surround sound. A lot of the time, now you need to double check, but you can say, oh look, it's been pre-wired, because what happens is when they go in and they put the plugs, it has this kind of knob on it. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so that's a nice little upgrade. I think Hutzfeld did it for a while in a lot of his homes. Some of the newer homes have it. And of course, sometimes people moved out and they took their stuff with them and then put it back. Okay, and if you have two of them and they're this wide, and you see this, which is just all black. Do you guys know what that is? See that one? What that is a laser a red eye, so that if you've got your remote control, this is a boy toy, okay? You can point it right there, and you can change what you're listening to. And change the station, change the saddle. That is an eye connector, and that connects to your main.
No.
No,
I
what?
haven't been that expensive.
Well,
I went on tour.
But that's what. But it's good to know, what these things are, and I'll do, features of what you would expect. I mean, the things are, if I'm even in the low-end homes, if I'm buying a $70,000 to $100,000 house, what should I expect it to have a garage, or a two-car garage, or no garage at all? Okay.
Right.
If I'm going a little bit higher, if the house does or doesn't have a certain feature, it's good to know. Like when you get into the higher end homes, I'm paying $400,000. Do I want a two-car garage, or is it typically 3? There tends to be breaking points in each thing where certain items, anyone who goes into a house, you can quickly tell about certain upgrades and see if it's been done. But a lot of times the homeowner doesn't realize it. They don't notice these details, which are going to save them a lot of money, because these upgrades cost. These upgrades cost quite a bit. And so your job is just to educate them about the different features of the home. You're not saying this is great, this is horrible. You're just saying, oh look, this house has khaki walls. That's what you said would go with your furniture, right? Is this the right color? Okay, let's say I look at the ceiling. I've been in houses that have this ceiling. What does that tell me?
That's commercial.
Not always. There's a couple that are in Steep Hollow that have this kind of ceiling. Typically that means it's been added on. It's obviously an add-on. And a lot of people will say, I don't know if I can live with this in my house. But they wouldn't notice it to begin with, because they're not all walking around like this. That's why you're pointing out the leaks. You're pointing out, if there's separation. But you're not pointing out just the bad things. You're pointing out the bad things and the good things of every house. But don't get carried away. Worst case scenario, really don't say more than 1 or 2 things in each room. And you don't have to say anything in some rooms. If you're dealing with females, or places for students, okay, and it's for the daughter, open up that closet and say, oh, is this enough closet space? Would this work? Look in the half bath or the full bath. Look at those countertops. Oh, they would have to share a sink here. Do you think they could do that without killing each other? Or there's no real point out if you walk into the master bedroom and there is no linen closet. I mean, things like that. Where am I going to put my towels and stuff if I'm in the master bedroom? Look for functional stuff. And then something else that's kind of fun, that there's a house on Spring Branch that really needs help if you want to go take a look, is when you're looking in the, say, $150,000 range, you start right around there. Check to make sure. My doorknobs, do my doorknobs match my door hinges? Because that is something that they wouldn't notice at first, but could become very bothersome to them very quickly. Especially if it's new construction. A lot of times the builder's like, oh, I have this left over, we'll just stick this in there in its place. Okay, here's another question. Do the doorknobs and or door hinges match the light fixtures? It's really not cool to mix oil rub bronze with brushed nickel, or to mix gold with silver. I mean, it's just really going to clash. So guys, you got to kind of deep into the feminine side and just look around at those things.